Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I am thrilled because he's a friend of mine and he's been on our programs before. And frankly, I believe in what he does. And he and I started a conversation about his passion for the environment and how to communicate keeping ourselves cleaner and environmentally friendly. So it's my buddy. He is an environmental artist and lecturer, Daniel Lanzilotta. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Gary. Good to see you again.
We were just conversing beforehand. Both of us wanted to express condolences and sadness about what happened on 181st Street in our hometown. I wish I could find the words to explain how terrible it is or how difficult it is. So if you want to say something just about our Bronx brothers and sisters who are hurting so bad, I'll give you the floor to do that.
Yes, that particular community means a lot to me. I used to be the safety coordinator in the chemistry department at UCLA, so I know a little bit about safety procedures. And I'm blown away by the fact that people are using space heaters in apartment buildings. Not a good idea under any circumstance, anywhere. But again, people are cold, and there are reasons why they're doing that. And so they're fulfilling maybe something that's not being done by landlords in general. And then I just read this today about the doors.
That was what I was going to bring up. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because you
right. So it's really it's imperative that people think about what they're doing, make sure that smoke alarms are in place,
and
carbon monoxide things are in place, safety features are in place across the board. Yep. No matter whose responsibility it is.
Close the door, even in the moment of panic. Remember, you got to remember to close the door. Anyway, Dan, let's tell the truth. You have a new exhibit coming up. Before we get to that exhibit, talk to me about what you do. I think people will find it fascinating. I'll give you a way to introduce it. Rebecca and I were talking about all the things we throw away, and I was going to get my toothbrush and say, when I replace my toothbrush, what do you do with it? And you're going to throw it in the garbage, and it's going to sit at the bottom of the ocean until 4,000 years from now, forever. What do you do with this? Here's a little a marker that I use here to.
Is that a Sharpie?
Yeah, I guess it's a Sharpie. Yeah, it's a permanent.
There's a few things evil about it. One, it's the plastic packaging that the marker is held in with the ink. And so it's when we look at laundry detergents, for instance, the big name brands for the most part, they're very expensive. And the containers are very toxic, but what's inside the containers, the laundry detergents themselves, is staggering. It's beyond one's comprehension that people even do their laundry with this toxic chemical waste. It's affecting us in ways that are just incredible. It becomes a medical issue when we start accumulating all this kind of stuff that's in the containers themselves. Never mind the plastic containers, but what the containers hold. So that's an issue unto itself. So but my expertise is in using plastic debris to make art.
I just to have a statement about it. So not only the package, the plastic,
right,
but the chemical that's in here. Who
exactly.
knows what is? Let's use what is on your shoulder as an example of the kind of things that you create.
My piece here.
Yep.
Well, that piece is several years old. I used to wear a lot of these pieces, and all kinds of magic things happened. 2 years ago, I got invited to Italy. I was on Metro North going up to Bridgeport, Connecticut. I was living in Bedford-Stuyvesant at the time. I had like 5 pieces on. This guy sits next to me. It's the day before Thanksgiving. He goes, "What is all that?" I have a conversation with him. It turns out he's a producer, a filmmaker, invites me to Italy, all expenses paid. I spent 7 days in Italy. Wow. Giving a lecture, talking. It was just crazy. From that, we were going to go to Australia and do a very big show, and then COVID happened, and that got kind of crushed. But I communicate with him on a regular basis, and it turns out that he's one of the technologists that's behind the online producing of Burning Man. So I was going to do that too, but I was not ready for the online.
The point is that this artwork is created from plastic that you have
Trash,
found.
all trash.
Trash.
Right. So I harvest trash. I call it post-human consumption. So I don't spend any money whatsoever on my art supplies. I depend on the public to provide me with their uh, um, trash. I mean, it's everywhere. It's literally, I'm wearing it. This green thing I'm wearing is plastic. My pants, everywhere we turn, there's plastic, either obviously plastic or it's unseen plastic. And those are the coatings of things.
What I recall from previous times you were on our programs is you talked about walking the beach and then just finding stuff in the sand.
Oh, the beach, the streets.
Right.
I was living in Brooklyn. I wound up moving up to Harlem, the Bronx. I'm in the Bronx all the time. But there's no end to this insanity, and so there's a movement to have producer responsibility and let the producers who make this stuff clean up the environment. Like Coca-Cola is the biggest producer of plastic bottles, and there's a movement for them to get their act together and to participate in cleaning the mess up. Well, I'm for that to an extent, and I'm for that end of it where they kind of change their formulations for things and try to make that plastic more user-friendly, more eco-friendly. But at the end of the day, it's everyone's individual responsibility to clean up their act. And I have seen people throw stuff out windows of cars, and I've actually got out of my car and threw it back in their car. I was in Brooklyn. I was down by Court Street. This guy threw something out of the car. I threw it back at him. He got out of the car. Whatever.
What I want to get to, Daniel, is the Jonathan Shorr Gallery. You've got a new exhibit called "Tell the Truth." Rebecca is going to show some of the pieces so we can see what they look like. Tell me about what this artwork is, and about the show that you're putting out. So go ahead. What is it about? These are all things that you collected?
That piece is entirely from Brooklyn. That's a Christmas tree stand that is, I'm sure there's a lot of them on the street right now. That's also a lot of trash from Brooklyn and Harlem. That's mostly debris from, that's 100% French debris. That was 2 garbage cans. That piece is called COVID Warrior. That's made from 3,500 handmade beads, mostly from plastic debris from during COVID from Harlem.
And so you put all this together for the exhibit, Tell the Truth?
Yes.
Tell me, is there a theme? Is there something? We will have all the details. It's at 547 West 27th Street on the 4th floor. It's running all this month. But tell me, like in your mind, what's it about?
It's about personal responsibility and taking charge of one's life and trying to make a decision about when you're purchasing something or consuming something that you have thought it out in advance, or not going to the store hungry, as they say, and trying to reduce the packaging and trying to reduce what you purchase. It's really come down. It's a crisis. We're in a crisis.
Yeah, I mean,
and that crisis extends to COVID-19 and those viruses. This is viruses in the ocean. These viruses are already out there. So there's COVID-19. There's the variants. There's Delta. There's Omicron. There's viruses X, Y, and Z coming. That's zoonosis. Zoonosis viruses are when the virus transmits from the animal kingdom to the human kingdom. So we're getting diseases that are coming into our beings. That's what was said to be the truth from COVID-19 from China, from the wet markets, if that's true.
So I want to just go back to something that you said, which is interesting about each of us, taking personal responsibility. I'm not sure what I would do for my class if I didn't have this marker. But your point is, if you take responsibility, when I go to the store, in addition to determining which one I want, note how it's packaged and say, you know what, if it's packaged with paper or something that you're going to be able to recycle, maybe make that choice instead of just buying one that's completely wrapped in plastic. I forgot what it was that I opened recently. I had to like get a pickaxe to get into the plastic
Right.
and open the
I
thing
mean,
up.
that's what's
Like,
happening with that big
it's crazy.
gigantic organization called Amazon and how they package their stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's been such a shift of consciousness about consuming, and because of the pandemic, people have chosen to stay home and for obvious reasons and shop. And when I'm out doing my garbage walks, I have seen nothing but a tremendous increase in seeing that little happy smile thing that Amazon uses. There's mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains of trash,
I got to ask you
and
this.
people never leave their home.
I got to ask you this, and I should have brought a couple because, of course, they're around my house, and I'm sure they're around everybody's house who lives and works in this world. When you get those plastic bubble wrap packages, I look at them and I'm going, what am I supposed to do with this? It's, I'm literally lining the floor of the ocean.
Yeah, the thing is this big, and the package is like,
yeah.
But I know I see this all day long, and it's
all right.
There's a trash pandemic on
Daniel,
top of everything else.
We love to give you the a format to be able to have your say. The Jonathan Shorr Gallery is at 547 West 27th Street. We'll have that on the screen so people will know.
Right, and you can go and see it by appointment because of COVID. We had our opening this past Thursday. There'll be a closing ceremony or show sometime soon, probably by the end of the month.
Dan,
hopefully it'll get extended.
Dan, will you and I and many others will keep fighting. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate being here.
Always great to see you.
It's always a pleasure, Gary.
What can I tell you? Keep fighting. So that's it for, thank you, Daniel Lanzilotta, and let's check out Tell the Truth at the Jonathan Shorr.
Thank you so much.
And folks, that'll do it for the Bronx Buzz. Thank you so much to Rachel Holiday Smith. What a wonderful reporter who joined us earlier. And you know what happens every single week. We'll see you next week.